let's set up our camera for our rocket animation. In our scene, there's already a camera. Let's make it visible by clicking on the little eyeball icon to the right, and it'll show our camera here in our viewport. This is our camera icon right here, which represents the camera in our scene. If we click here on this camera icon to the right of our viewport, we can see through our camera. If we use the scroll wheel to zoom in or out, we can zoom in or out in our view. Let's keep it around this right here. And if we click on this lock icon, we can actually lock our camera to our viewport. So anytime we rotate around in the viewport, we can actually rotate our camera. Let's go ahead and position our camera so we can get a good staging area for our rocket ship. I think this would be good. And let's go ahead and adjust some of our settings. Let me unlock the camera and let me go here to the data tab of our camera. All objects have a data tab and it change the icon depending on what type of object it is. Here we can see it's a little green camera icon. Here we have several settings we need to adjust, okay? Here we have clip start. This one's very important. This will stop showing any objects that go within 0.1 meters, and the end will stop showing any items that go about further away than 100 meters. Let's go ahead and increase this by 1000. And depending on how far away your rocket moves from your camera, you might need to increase it more. The focal length will allow us to adjust how our camera, the size of our camera's sensor, how it simulates how big the sensor is. So it allows us to make almost like a fishbowl effect or a tilt shift camera effect. The lower the number, the more of the fishbowl effect you get. The bigger the number, the more of a tilt shift effect you'll get. But default is set at 50. Let's pretend that our rocket ship is bigger than it is to an actual rocket size. So let's go ahead and decrease our rocket, our camera, so that it looks like our, let me lock this again. So that it looks like our camera is smaller than it is. So it'll give the effect that our rocket is bigger. There we go. I think 25 to the spot. There we go. And let me go ahead and lock this since I'm done editing this portion right here. Perfect. And now we can see that our camera is set up. Anything outside of this frame will not be rendered, which is very important to understand when we go ahead and framing our camera. Now, let's make our camera follow our rocket, which is very easy. All we gotta do is select our camera. Let's go back to our constraint menu, tab, right here, constraint tab. Let's go ahead and create a new constraint, which is going to be called the damp track right here. Let's click on that. And let's go ahead and make our rocket the target. There we go. And it's gonna go ahead and move our camera around. This is because it's the track axis is set to Y, right, which is up. We need to set it to -Z, right? This depends on the object by object basis. And I'll show you what that means. So if we rotate out the camera, we can see our camera icon is pointing towards the rocket. But if we switch it to something else, let's say Z, -Z to Z, we can see now that it's pointing the other way. See that? Let's put it back to Z, -Z, I'm sorry. And let's go ahead and look through the camera and let's press play to see how it works. Perfect. Now our camera is set up, and now that we're here, let's go ahead and adjust, set up our timing for our rocket. Let's see this. pretty good. Let's make it a little faster. Let's go ahead and click on our motion track right here, data, and let's go ahead and adjust this right here. We can notice here that we have some keyframes, right? These little diamonds right here are keyframes. See that? If we move this keyframe around, it's gonna move at what point the object is and the time. So at frame 150 is at the end of the curve. If we want to go faster, we want to move this little diamond further to the left, right here. And let's see how that affected the animation. A little faster, perfect. Let's give it a second after the animation starts, the video starts, to get the audience a chance to see the rocket before it starts. There we go. A couple of more right here. 15. Put it at 15, frame 15. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And that's our camera. Let's go ahead and save it and move on to the next step.